I'm going to get a little serious here for a sec here. I do definitely talk a lot of sports on my channel, and I definitely share a lot of senior videos, but I cleverly picked personal vlog number 11 for talking about Remembrance Day 2018. Personal vlog number 11 happens on November 11th, 11th month, 11th day, and actually 11th hour. And with this year being 2018, this actually marks the 100th anniversary of the Armistice, signaling the end of the First World War here. So this personal vlog, I'll talk about my experiences at Remembrance Day and so far, and what I know about it, what I've done in the past, and I just figure years that I can't take in any activities or go to any, loosely call it ceremonies, but I just call it taking activities in. I'll just do a video if my YouTube journey still continues on years down the road. But anyway, let's just talk about Remembrance Day here, as this is the day, occasion where we take time to reflect and remember all the soldiers that that have served or serving right now, or many that paid the ultimate sacrifice so we can enjoy our freedoms, be able to have my own personal views, personal blogs, talk about anything on sports, be able to freely choose the team that I cheer for or boo against, and be able to choose my own path here in a democratic society here. So make sure you got your poppy on there. John McCrae definitely had made that poem about the Flanders Fields where poppies grow and all the crosses row by row. And the thing of Remembrance Day here is that a lot of the soldiers that survived, I don't think there's anyone that's still around for First World War, and as time goes on, there's hardly anyone still left that served in the Second World War here. These guys are definitely in their late 90s, in some cases early hundreds, and it's definitely a different time back then. That it's amazing that you got people in their teenagers, their teenage years back then, going over to serve, and it's definitely different, teenagers today and when I was a teenager. But and I still found in public school that we definitely learned about the history of that led up to the World Wars. And it's not just Remembrance Day is not just for the First and Second World War, but Canada definitely played a big part in the Korean War from 1950 to 53. Fought with the the Americans, and then definitely recently, Canada's definitely a peacekeeping nation and done a lot of peacekeeping missions, and definitely from 2000 to 2011 there had a mission in Afghanistan there, and we lost over 180 men and women that served in Afghanistan there. And so this is the least we can do is take time to reflect, and there's absolutely nothing we can do to totally pay back all the men and women that has served and serving. And I didn't have any family members that I know that served, but I know that my grandparents on my dad's side had a good friend in the neighborhood that his name was Rolly Wood, that he served in the military and survived from the Second World War. And I know I asked him here and there if he ever got asked to go to school to talk to kids and talk about what he did and what war is about. He said never was asked, and I still think we need to if you were able to, serve in the military, I wonder if you like, I mean, some of these guys, unfortunately, they might survive, but, mentally got PTSA, post-stress, post-stress trauma, I mean, it's definitely the ultimate sacrifice. I mean, you go overseas, or a lot of times you go overseas to try to serve their country bravely, and there's still obviously always going to be that war on terror, especially after 9/11 here. But growing up, I mean, I definitely got exposed to a lot of Remembrance Day. I mean, in public school, you learn about it in school, and usually the last day before Remembrance Day, you have a assembly, internally in school, to observe a moment of silence and learn everything. But I also remember I went to Dr. Oakley School in my elementary years, and at that time, not anymore in Calgary, but it's south of Marta Loop there, that community, and it's near Mount Royal University there. But the Curry Barracks, the old Curry Barracks used to be right there in Calgary. I know now that when soldiers get deployed, there's a big one up in Edmonton, and I know there's a Canadian Forces base in Suffield, which is in the southern Alberta there. But I definitely got exposed to, a lot of soldiers, men and women that, trained for combat, and I was right at the Curry Barracks, and right around Remembrance Day, I remember one gets invited to come to their school and talk to us, and also the fact that the other thing we did every year was near where Dr. Oakley is, and near the Mount Royal University. It was a college at the time, but and if you go down Crowchild and near 50th Avenue there in Calgary, the military museums are there, so we were able to walk from the school to the military museums, and we were able to go to the military museums and see all the exhibits there, and definitely there's big monuments and walls there that lists all the people that passed away and paid the ultimate sacrifice in the First and Second World War. And I remember one time we were going through a tour there, and I was amazed that there was one, actually it was a former soldier at one exhibit, pointed out and said, "That was me in that picture," and that was neat. And also the one thing that's been neat that happens in Calgary every year is if you go down Memorial Drive there, from underneath the Center Street Bridge going over to 10th Street there. I mean, there was Poppy Plaza right near where the Center Street Bridge is, and the Curly Club there on Memorial Drive there. What definitely shows the magnitude of all the, the men and women that paid the ultimate sacrifice is that they got the field of crosses there, and it lists all the people that, served, show their date of birth, their name, their ranks. They range from, the First and Second World War, Korean peacekeeping missions, and Afghanistan there. So you definitely see all the field of crosses there. And that pocket that you see there that I've done the last couple of years when I've had the opportunity to is, it shows all for southern Alberta. And then Memorial Drive there along the river pathway there, it highlights all the trees that were planted, and they're definitely well growing now. Represents all the soldiers in that passed away in the First World War, and we're 100 years into that now. And then there's that memorial display on 10th Street and Kensington Road there, Memorial Drive, in that intersection there. So I'm not too far from that, but also the fact that they have ceremonies at the Jubilee. And actually the thing with Remembrance Day, believe it or not, is most of the time I'm actually usually too busy working on Remembrance Day, and all I could do is get a quick moment of silence in when I'm at the office there. But usually I seem to know more people that work on Remembrance Day than get the day off, it's, usually just picked as the floating holiday where, it seems to be, you work that day to get that extra time off Christmas, which you badly need anyway, so, but, I always try to take my time to remember. I mean, Sunday, it fell on the Sunday there, that's a big playoff football time there, but even then, they always do a moment of silence at the start of the kickoff. And actually, what was neat yesterday at the game was in Hamilton, but I was watching at the bar there. They had the BC Lions and Hamilton Tiger Cats play there. Actually, it was 11 p.m. Pacific time, and actually, it worked out just just before a play after a kickoff. They actually, paused the game for a moment there, and all the fans and the players, coaches and that, took a moment of silence there. So, I mean, I still think, there's definitely, it'll always be remembered there. I mean, you see that phrase, lest we forget. The word lest means in fear of forgetting. That's what that means. And, it's somewhat always in my mind year-round here with Remembrance Day, because, always being near the Poppy Plaza, Memorial Drive in Calgary there. And also when I go, anywhere out of town there, you always hit all the main stops there, and the main city park there. There's always a memorial there, and I make sure that I, stop and observe and see the names and take a moment there. So I always try to remember, keep the legacy going forward here, and once we have all the people that pass on from the World Wars and the Korean War, but we're always, unfortunately, we seem to always have battles to fight here. I mean, now it's the war on terror here, but that's definitely my take on Remembrance Day, and it's definitely important that we always remember those who fought for us. And there's still other parts in the world there that you're risking your life to vote or have an opinion, or go across the street, or decide I'm gay or lesbian. I mean, that's definitely we have that freedom here, and that's something that can't always take for granted here. And I don't mean to ramble on here, but this is definitely, a serious post here. I'm going to say Canadians, we're proud of our military history as much as the Americans are, but what separates us from the Americans is that we're a lot more, humble and quiet about it. But, even, you still got to extend solid branch even to all the, veterans that served for the U.S. We're definitely, despite, where we stand on our political views here, but, and trade in that, and especially with the politics right now, but, the Americans are always a close ally to us, and we always have their back when they need it. And, actually, we came into war with the U.S. in the First World War, but then the Second World War, actually Canada declared war on its own first before the Americans did. The Americans tried to actually stay as long as they can until the Japanese Pearl Harbor incident, but, we're also on the, same page when it comes to the war on terror there. So, this is a serious post here about Remembrance Day 2018. If I continue my YouTube journey years down the road, I'll make sure I'll do a Remembrance Day personal vlog post, whatever number it is. But I took advantage of that as I'm still growing on YouTube and still fairly new at this. This was number 11, so I figured I'll cleverly, make this my 11th personal vlog here. So anyway, if you enjoy everything that I do on my YouTube channel, make sure you hit like and subscribe, and follow along here. And as I always say, I'll see you in the next video.